All right. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Sorry about the late start here, but trying to get some things handled for the big guest at 9 a.m. this morning. Corey Besh, Ahmad Asanin's brother, will be joining us this morning to kind of give us the details, right? The deets on Ahmed's career and his family dynamic and everything. We're going to try to pull out, some good information from Corey this morning. He's been hitting, everybody up. Crunch Time last night, Woodward Sports a few days ago. And I got to say, the more you listen to this guy, I'm wondering why he's not on a sports desk. Like Corey is that fun to watch and so well-spoken. So I'm going to ask him that question. Make sure I don't forget. So we're going to kick it off with some rumors, NFL rumors, Lions rumors and news. I got a big one today about Aiden Hutchinson. And then we're gonna stop this show. Then we're going to get right into the interview at 9 a.m. So there's going to be a brief pause, but the show does automatically send you. So if you're in, you'll roll right into it when it ends. So let's get it kicked off this morning with the guys, Riley and Eric. Be back here in just about 20 seconds.
Yeah, 1 2 1 2.
Hey yo, AC.
1 2 1 2. Mic check. Hey, can y'all hear me out there? Hey. Against all odds. 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 Against all odds.
All right. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
All right.
Good
So
morning.
I know I didn't run the intro song, but we'll work on that for tomorrow. Good morning, Eric. I don't know if I heard you. Do you have audio?
Yeah, I was muted there for a second.
Okay. All right. So we got a big day today. We're going to hit it off real quick. We're going to try to get through some of these as fast as we can. And then we're going to pause right around 8:45. As soon as we see Corey get into the back studio, we'll pause and then we'll get into the second half. And for future reference, I'm probably going to start framing these shows in the morning like this, where we're going to have hour 1, hour 2, possibly hour 3, depending on what happens this summer. Whether I have surgery. I started the clock yesterday on surgery. So I have less than 90 days to get it done, and we'll see how that goes. But big news came out of that meeting yesterday, not just about me, but about somebody else. So, Eric, kick us off, man. What was the breaking news this morning?
All right, NFL news. So everyone during the NFL draft thought that George Pickens was going to get traded. Well, happens that it happened today, or it's happening today. The Pittsburgh Steelers are reportedly trading wide receiver George Pickens to none other than the Dallas Cowboys to go play with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. The trade is in exchange for a third-round draft pick in 2026 and an exchange of other draft choices. So it must be like 5th, 6th, 7th round swaps or something. And the two teams have been discussing this potential trade since the NFL draft. George Pickens is in the final year of his contract, and he had maturity issues, including multiple fines for unsportsmanlike conduct and being late for a game. The Steelers had previously traded for veteran receiver DK Metcalf with the intention of pairing him with Pickens. But the Steelers decided to trade Pickens to gain capital for the 2026 NFL Draft, which will be held in Pittsburgh. So they wanted some extra ammo for this draft that's going to happen in Pittsburgh. In his 3 seasons with the Steelers, Pickens had 174 receptions for 2,841 yards and 12 touchdowns. The Steelers have recently signed veteran receiver Robert Woods and have other receivers on the roster like Calvin Austin III, Scotty Miller, Ben Skowronek, and Roman Wilson.
I'm a little bit perplexed here. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers, why would you trade the best receiver that you have? I don't understand this. They're trying to rebuild and small rebuild, right? They're trying to make it to the next level. Every year it seems like they limp into the playoffs and they exit just as quick. So I don't understand the whole Pickens thing unless they're running out of money and they don't want to have to worry about an extension or whatever. But this doesn't make any sense to me at all. I mean, good for the Cowboys, but it's the Cowboys. So I'm not real impressed. What are your thoughts, Riley?
Yeah, you would think that they wanted to at least see him on the field with DK Metcalf, right? See how that pairing looked, but I guess not. I guess they had other plans.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's about the only good thing you could say is they have Metcalf. But I guess to the point of every Lions fan out there that wants multiple edge rushers, why wouldn't you want 2 top-tier wide receivers?
Dude, one's not enough. We know this.
Right? So, and by the way, yesterday, I don't know what I was thinking, but I started thinking after the show, and we were talking about Jahmyr Gibbs and Tate Ratledge, and Georgia was all on my mind. And I wasn't thinking Georgia Tech, right? Wasn't thinking about Georgia Tech at all. Gibbs went to Georgia Tech and then Bama. He didn't play for Georgia. So a little bit of a brain fart, but a correction from yesterday. Just so happens, some things just dribble out of your mouth that don't make sense because it's not entering the brain right, I guess. So what's next on NFL news?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Eric. You got it.
So a Colorado fan is suing the NFL for emotional distress.
Emotional.
If you can believe this one, on Tuesday, one of the most frivolous lawsuits you may ever see was filed as one of Colorado's fans filed suit against the NFL seeking $100 million in damages for the emotional distress he claimed to have suffered watching the NFL draft and watching Shedeur Sanders slide all the way down the draft board to the 5th round before being selected by the Browns. The fan is also seeking an apology in a more fair draft process, demands that the NFL will likely laugh at. He is seeking $100 million for the harm the NFL caused to his well-being, plus an apology and a more fair draft process. So what do you guys think about this frivolous lawsuit?
Go ahead, Riley.
Well, I think frivolous is, that's a hell of a word to levy against him because I've been there before. I mean, when we did not get that second edge rusher, I was damn near doing the same thing. I was going to put in my $100 million because, look, it's an easy way to get rich, right? He wants an apology too, so the $100 million is not enough. That's just frivolous is absolutely the right word. Just crazy. I mean, this guy's got to be like a diehard Colorado, diehard Shedeur Sanders fan, or obviously both. But man, I really love Matthew Stafford. I wasn't wanting to sue the Lions when they traded him, not even for $1 million. There's emotional damage is part of sports. It's part of life.
I think that whoever this guy is must have been smoking something extra in Denver, because there's no way you're going to sue the NFL for emotional damage. It's not going to happen. Now I need that soundbite because it's hilarious. But
emotional damage, I know exactly which one.
Yeah, I'm just, man, $100 million for emotional damage because of Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is the one that should be suing the NFL for $100 million and then just not play football. His information gets leaked. I'm not saying that I want it to happen. I'm just saying, like, if anyone should be doing anything, it would be Shedeur.
Yeah.
I'm sure he signed his life away before that night. Anyway.
Right.
What's up next for you, Riley? What do you have for NFL news today?
Yeah, so we know that LA Charger coach Jim Harbaugh is a pretty loose cannon. He's obviously he's a hell of a football coach, says some really good things. According to Jim Harbaugh, sometimes the best ideas can come to you at 3:30 or 4 in the morning. Harbaugh told Rich Eisen on the Rich Eisen show last week that he woke up the other day with the sudden realization that one of his objectives is getting quarterback Justin Herbert to the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt that Justin Herbert has the talent to one day achieve such a feat, and having a head coach who believes in you strongly obviously helps. But in Harbaugh's first year, Herbert attempted only 504 passes, which was one of the lowest outputs for Justin since he entered the league 5 years ago. So obviously this isn't the first time, Coach Harbaugh's had this thought or, this epiphany, realizing that, hey, I just need to get Herbert to the Hall of Fame. But I guess, what do you think? Will, I remember back in the day when there was the possibility the Lions could draft him or Tua, but it seemed like they were going to go with a cornerback because they still had Stafford and the mandate to get to the playoffs, right? Passed on at least one franchise quarterback in Herbert. But what are your thoughts on Herbert? Do you think he's Hall of Fame material?
It's too early. He hasn't done anything. It's way too early in the process. He's got to get to the playoffs and win some playoff games, some NFC championships. He needs to go to the Super Bowl. Look, I think that the Hall of Fame is going to get watered down if we keep putting players in there that haven't won anything that is of, this is not a word, legitness, right? You have to win at least one Super Bowl, in my opinion, or you have to have broken some records, whether it's passing records, yardage records, rushing records, triple crowns, sack records. I mean, you name it, tackling, that gets you like a foot in the door.
I would agree. Yeah.
You still need to be a perennial winner in the postseason to be able to even have a shot at making a Hall of Fame bid. Nice language there, Orner Evem Dad. Nice grammar. It says gooder. When I asked about the audio, it's just too funny, man. Too funny. Gooder. More gooder. More gooder.
Hey, Will, I think, wasn't there some significance on the date today for you? I don't know if you were.
Yeah. No, I was going to get to it. So before I get to that, though, Tom Brady, we were talking about Shedeur Sanders a few moments ago. And during this draft slide for Shedeur, which was fully intentional, right? It almost seems like all of the NFL GMs and owners got together and said, hey, look, we've got to send a message. And you've got to appreciate who the NFL is, who we are, what we are as a system, as an employer, as the elite of the elite when it comes to athletes. You can't be entitled. And you know, look, it's part of that. Maybe it's Deion's problem because he raised these kids. I think he raised them to be good kids, right? I think there's nothing wrong with them, you know, from that perspective. But to feel entitlement or to, I guess, give off that I'm entitled, I can do what I want, say what I want. And I'm not saying that Shedeur is all about that, but that's what was reported, right? That his interviews did not go well. So Tom Brady reached out, and during the slide of Shedeur Sanders, here's what he said. He said, it doesn't matter whether you're number one overall pick or Mr. Irrelevant. It matters how you perform on the field. And to go a little bit further, Tom Brady said, quote, I said, dude, whatever happens, wherever you go, that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was pick 199. So who could speak on it better than me? Like, what that really means, use it as motivation. You're going to get your chances. Go take advantage of it. And I think that's, I mean, it's a really good message, right? I think that it's a spot on, it's a pointed message. Who cares where you were drafted? We've seen it with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, it hurt that he slipped, and he knew that he was a better wide receiver. At least he felt he was a better wide receiver. I'm sure Brock Purdy felt that he was better than some of the other quarterbacks that went ahead of him. A lot of them, or a lot of players, right? 256 players, I believe, in that draft. So it doesn't matter where you're picked. Does kind of matter where you land, you know, the team dynamic, how the team is run. You know, do you have an opportunity to hit the field right away? Are you playing for a starting position, competing, I should say, for a starting position? But more importantly, once you're in the NFL, like Tom said, that's day one. You're there. You made it. Congratulations. Now, go put the work in. Because it doesn't matter if you're the first overall pick or Mr. Irrelevant, you still have to put the work in to beat out 22 other guys or 21 other guys to be a starter on a football team. And then you have to maintain it year after year after year when all these young bucks coming in through the rookie, you know, draft class, they're just chomping at your heels. You know, they're chomping at the bit. They're trying to take you down, and they're coming in with all this energy that you don't have anymore because you've been through the gauntlet of the NFL. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is it doesn't matter if it's Ahmad, Hassanin. It doesn't matter if it's Dan Jackson. It doesn't matter who it is that the Lions selected or where they were selected. Now it's time to go put the work in. And I think that today's interview with Corey is going to outline exactly why Ahmed has a unique ability and opportunity to actually become a starter in this league. And if not this year, very soon with the Detroit Lions. I think that he has the real ability to do it. And Corey said something in an interview the other day, which we're going to highlight today when we talk to him, because I feel like it was a not a lot of people understand the dynamics of an NFL football team or the coaching and, how they can hit the field the fastest or how they earn an opportunity to play. And he said something, and I'm going to ask him about it today. But before I go any further, I got to make sure I get this done. Happy birthday to my dad. Born in 1956, May 7th. I can never forget this date. Obviously, he helped give me life, right? He was responsible for half of it. And he's been a big part of the reason why I've been a Detroit Lions fan my whole life. And a big reason why we've had season tickets for more than 60 years in the family. It's been an incredible run. So there's a lot of impact, I believe, with sports and family and being able to do things together every single season, every single year, and building family traditions. And that's what this is about for us and always has been. Started with my grandfather, and there's a lot that I've learned along the way. And now I just get to live my best life and do what I love most. And I have to give the credit to my dad for giving me an opportunity. So happy birthday to you. I'm not going to tell everyone how young you are, but they can figure it out. 1956, right? You can figure it out. Anyway, happy birthday. I'm sure we'll chat soon. Whoops, wrong one. So now it's on to Lions news, and I'm going to save you could call it breaking news. It's on Aiden Hutchinson. You could call it just a rumor because that's what it's going to be. I'm going to save that one. I want to know what's going on with Barry Sanders, the guy on the thumb today. What did he say? What is he talking about?
He's got some opinions, and we know he's going to have a valid and especially when it comes to talking about running backs, he knows what he's talking about. So seems to be practically unanimous that the Detroit Lions running back duo of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are held in highest of regards as the best running back tandem in the NFL. Actually, last night I was going through and looking at everybody's depth chart. I don't see one that's even close. Tampa Bay would be the only one I see even in the realm of Detroit. Detroit Lion legend Barry Sanders recently said the following, quote, "They are the best duo in the NFL, and there's no reason that's going to change anytime soon. If a Super Bowl is in our future, in our near future, you would think that those two guys would be a big part of it." So one would think that the new Lions offensive coordinator, John Morton, will continue to utilize Gibbs and Montgomery as the motor of this offense. There simply cannot be a better running back tandem that a new offensive coordinator could ask for to have at his disposal. So will Morton continue utilizing both? Do you envision that Gibbs and Montgomery will be utilized the same as they have been the last couple of years? More or less, just about the same? What are your thoughts?
So this one, I've spoken about, I think, at length or ad nauseum. I don't know about your allergies, but my God, they're just nuts. Mm-hmm. I've spoken about this quite a bit. I think that Morton we know that he wants explosive plays. He's talked about it numerous times. That's the catalyst of this offense. That is a highlight of this offense. They want explosive plays. But I also feel that Morton is going to bring this offense back to where it should have been, which we love the high-flying acrobatic catches and, the deep downfield stuff to J-Mo. But our running backs have not been utilized, in my opinion, in a way that has been conducive to their ability, especially Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery is just a north and south, ground and pound. I call him the sledgehammer, and that's just what he does. But don't mistake the fact that he can't break it out wide, that he can't find a hole in the middle and take it 20, 30, or 70 to the house. Because he can, and he's done it. And he's quick enough to do it. And he's got the power to run over you. Jahmyr does too. He's just a little bit more finesse. And I think that the offense has made a huge mistake over the last couple of seasons under Ben Johnson by not getting Jahmyr involved in the passing game. When Jahmyr was selected, what did we hear consistently, Eric? That Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be used in the slot. That Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be, used in the passing game quite a bit. And we might see a running back that is, a third of his yards are through the air. Hasn't happened. Not even close. So I'm hoping that they get back to what the plan was, at least what they said or rumored it to be. Jahmyr Gibbs can catch the football. He's lightning in a bottle. You put him in space, he's going to put you on skates. It's that simple. So to me, he's just as electric as Jameson Williams is. Maybe even more so when he catches the football. Jamo's fast. He's going to get it, to the end zone. He's only one touch away from the end zone. But I think that Jahmyr is going to be just as electric as Jamo was in the past game. So that's what I'm hoping. But I think that they're going to stick to their guns. And they're going to balance this offense out a little bit more. We won't see a pass on 3rd and 1 at the 17. They're gonna run it, right, knowing they have 4th down right behind them.
Do you guys think it'll be Montgomery gets this drive, Gibbs gets this drive, Montgomery gets this drive, or do you think they'll mix it up, interchange it in a given drive?
Eric, you can take that one. I'll follow up with it.
Well, I think we're going to see, for one, with Morton, it's not going to be so much a 50-50 split, I don't think. I think you are going to see more of something that both Will and I have been screaming for the last year. Both of them in at the same time. It's something that was a very low percentage, getting both of these players on the field at the same time. And whether that means putting a running back on each side of the quarterback, or putting Gibbs out wide, or putting Montgomery out wide, I think it's going to be a different type of breakdown this year. And I think they are going to go more with the hot hand, whoever is, getting it done. But at the same time, I think situationally that Morton is not going to do some of the things that Ben Johnson did. And what do I mean by that? So when you're in a playoff game and it's 3rd and 1 from your own 17, John Morton is going to run the ball. He's not going to go empty back set and leave Jared Goff out to dry when Amon-Ra St. Brown is his only outlet and he trips and falls down. That's not going to happen. They're going to run the ball twice and try to get that 1st down, or they're going to kick a field goal on 4th down. So I really think this year you're going to see more of a classic ground and pound style when it needs to be in the right situation. And whether that means you're running up the gut with Montgomery or you're giving it to Gibbs when Gibbs gets the hot hand, because Gibbs is one of those running backs that he'll have 3, 4, 5 runs where he gets 1 or 2 yards. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's gone for 60 yards and no one's stopping him. So I really believe Gibbs needs to get warmed up, needs to get a few plays going. And I really see more of whoever the hot hand is this year rather than just 50-50 no matter what split.
I think that I tend to, agree. And again, that's something that we've talked about quite a bit. Matter of fact, I've gotten downright upset with it. The fact that, David Montgomery, I don't care who it is, but let's say David Montgomery is having a great game. And I don't understand this Gibbs in for this series and then Montgomery in for this series. And then later on in the second half, it was kind of mixed. I understand that they want to save some legs, right? You want to keep some guys fresh for the 4th quarter. I totally, from a coaching perspective, I get that. Because same thing with defensive end. You don't want you guys blitzing all the time. The reason why is they're going to gas them out and they're not going to have anything left in the 4th quarter. Gosh forbid it goes to overtime. They're not going to have any legs left. I don't care how conditioned you are. So I understand it from the perspective of saving the legs, but what I didn't understand is oftentimes Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery would be having a heck of a game, and then it's like, oh, pivot. We're going to go to the other guy, and then it just tanks, and it falls apart, and then they got to start going up top, and then it's 3 and outs, and it's over and over and over. It kept happening, and I'm hoping that this year it's more of hot hand, to your point, but to I guess a degree of let's keep the guys as fresh as we can. If the series ends, that doesn't mean that you should just switch up backs. If he was the hot hand, let's say if Gibbs was the hot hand, in the next series, roll with it. If he's not hot at that moment, switch it up.
Yeah.
You know, I think the play calling obviously dictates what they're going to do.
We saw that week 1 against the Rams last year. You guys remember overtime?
Mhm.
It was David Montgomery all over it. And so week 1, I kind of thought, oh, maybe they are going to just roll with a hot hand. And then it worked week 1, and then they kind of changed up on it. But yeah, I think you guys just gave some great answers. Appreciate the thoughts.
Yeah. So real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if we can get the likes up, I want to keep ads off, not just in this show, but the next show. I want to make sure that we have a seamless transition and that you guys can just listen to the content. Not everybody has YouTube Premium. So I want to get ads turned off within the next 10 minutes. We're expecting to see Corey enter the back office here, and then we're going to transition. So there's going to be a pause where we're getting things set up. You guys can roll into the new link, which there'll be a transition from this show. It'll probably be 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll go live, hopefully right at 9 a.m., and be good to go. Appreciate all of the comments in here, and wishing my father a happy birthday, and to those that have birthdays in May, happy birthday to you too. Did I miss anything in the chat this morning? We also need to make sure that we are capturing best comments. So between now and 9:30, I know today's going to be a weird day to capture comments, but we at least need to try to capture some comments, at least 4 people, and then we'll do the spin-off at the end when Corey exits the show. So, all right, what's up next? Well, this is what's up next. I am in surgery consult yesterday with my orthopedics. Part of the reason why my day kind of got away from me yesterday, I was trying to get some things done, but just so happened that we got on the subject of the Lions. And I said, so tell me, what have you seen, with Aiden? What do you know, if you know anything? And the word was struggle. And I'm like, what do you mean, struggle? And I said, well, we've seen, some videos where he's looking good, right? He's not escaping pressure on the leg. It looks like he's going full force. He's not dodging, putting pressure on the leg. And he says, but Will, it's highlights. What you're seeing is the best of the best, right? Just like you don't want to watch highlights when you're grading a guy. You want to watch film. So what has he been doing the 2-3 hours before that? Was that the first run or two of the day? What has he been doing the last 2, 3, 4 weeks before that? Nobody's in the room, right? So if what they're hearing, now again, I'm going to keep this as a rumor. This is not an NFL source or anything like that. This is not a doctor, to my knowledge, that works in the NFL. It's just these guys are connected, right? A lot of these surgeons, this is a top surgeon for what I'm getting done, which is the hip replacement. Top surgeon, and they're connected to people. So I was a little taken aback because all we've heard is positivity and seen positivity. And so I'm hoping that it's just wrong. That what they're hearing or seeing is just not right. That Aiden isn't struggling. But here's the good news, everybody. We still have 4 months. He has 4 months to get ready. But I'm going to ask you guys, Aiden didn't get an extension. Everyone thought that he should get an extension. Except for me, I thought that they should wait for financial reasons. Do you guys think, I'll start with you, Riley, do you think that Aiden not getting an extension is more so just the Lions being smart, frugal, and wanting to make sure that they look at every nook and cranny about Aiden before they invest and want to see some action on the field? Because remember, he can't do any contact right now, at least in the building. He can do it outside with other people, but just not his teammates, right? So, or at least under, I should say, guided supervision of the team. He can't do any hitting. Or do you think that there could be some more concerns?
I think it's the first option, and I think that you called it 100 miles away. Rod Wood said during the draft, I believe it was, he was asked about Aiden Hutchinson. He said, look, I can just say he's going to be here for the long haul. I think they've got the money set aside. I think the plans are in place. I think it just comes down to they want to see him on the field before they make a commitment.
Eric, what do you think?
Yeah. How can you, because this is going to be,
And they're calling me right now. Maybe they're listening. Sorry.
What if it's $150, $200 million contract? You have to see what this product is going to be on the field before you can make that decision. Now, is it going to cost you a little bit more by waiting another year? Possibly. But I really feel that the Lions are going to need to see what it is on the field, and they don't need to see it for 1 or 2 games. I think they need to see it for half a season, 3/4 of a season, or a full season before they can get serious about talks with Aiden. And we have to see what the product on the field is going to be. We know what the product on the field used to be, but we don't know what the product on the field is this year and going forward.
It's going to be, yeah. That's a great point. It's got to be more too than just 1 game, 2 games, 4 games. It's got to be a season, worth of production. But I think that's the case. Is they've got the high and the low set aside, and they know if he plays really well, we're going to pay him X amount, and if it's somewhere in here, we're going to pay. But they've got those numbers set aside. They're not going to be blindsided by, oh my gosh, we got to pay him this much. They know what those numbers are.
Yeah. And if he comes out and he is the defensive player of the year and he's the comeback player of the year, great. That's what the Lions want to see.
Exactly. Then pay him happily.
Yep.
You guys can take it away in the next subject. I missed what you were saying, Eric. And
yeah, just saying that Aiden needs to put in a full season. They don't want to see 1 or 2 games. They don't want to see 3 or 4 games. They want to see what he can do for a full season before making their decision on this, because this is huge. This could be a $200 million contract, and you don't want to put that kind of money on the line without knowing what your product's going to be on the field.
And I would agree with all that, because that's what I've been saying from the beginning. Like, you've got to test it out. You've got to make sure that he's ready to go. So I just got a text from Corey. It looks like he's going to be joining here momentarily. And then when he's in the back room, I really can't do anything right now. But once he's in the back room, we'll start to phase out of this show, and then we'll get ready for the second.
You want me to do tee off on one more Lions, Will, or do you got something queued up?
No, I think we're good. I think that my final comment with this whole Aiden thing is kind of exactly what I've been saying the entire time. I really believe he's going to be okay. He's had an extraordinary amount of time to get ready, to get healthy, and let's just be honest for a moment. Getting injured early in the season was the best thing that could have happened to him, honestly. Getting injured late would have derailed this even longer. I still think he would have been ready. Even if he got injured in week 18, I still think he would have been ready for this next season, because that's still 8 months of rehab, or 7 months of rehab that he could have gotten done. For a 12 to 16 week injury, that's 3 to 4 months. He had double the amount of time. Yeah, let's do one more here. Go ahead, Riley.
Do you want me to roll? Yeah. So you guys may have seen this one too, that the Lions, and Will, you may have mentioned this the other day when you were solo. The Lions shot down a trade offer from Philadelphia Eagles, from the Eagles, for the 28th overall selection. I don't know, Eric, if you saw this, but according to John Vaccaro of Yahoo Sports, Detroit Lions general manager Brad Holmes made exactly 30 attempts to execute a trade during the 2025 draft. In a recent episode of 96 Hours Inside the Eagles draft room, one of those attempts actually came from the Philadelphia Eagles. In the video, Eagles GM Howie Roseman reveals that he called Brad Holmes about the possibility of moving up to 28. You can't hear Brad Holmes on the other end of the call, but it was evident that he quickly shot down the proposal. The Eagles still ended up making a trade with the Chiefs. They traded up and got Jihad Campbell. It's also known now that the Buffalo Bills were potentially going to select Tyleik Williams at pick 30. All things considered, and given the reaction we have seen from Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, when the Lions sent in the pick for Williams, it stands to reason that the Lions brass was more than happy to stand put and select Williams at 28. But I don't know, Eric, if you had seen, evidently the Eagles were trying to get up to the 28th spot.
Yeah, I did see it, and I don't know what they were. I haven't watched this video that exists, and I don't know the transcript of the video, so I don't know exactly what the Eagles were trying to throw at the Lions to move up to that spot.
Was any of that reported at all?
Yeah. So evidently, from what Howie Roseman, basically the audio is, he just says, "Are you guys interested in moving back?" And it was, you can't hear Brad Holmes, and he just says, "Okay, all right, appreciate the honesty," and then hung up, and then he announced to the room, Detroit's not doing anything.
Yeah, but did they mention anywhere what the capital was, what the trade, if they were trading multiple picks to try to move up? Because that would be the third team that we know of that tried to trade with the Lions at 28. And to Brad Holmes' credit, when he says it was thinning out for us, they were taking a DT no matter what. And so his board, his first round selections in round 1, the guys that he felt comfortable taking, the herd was thin. And so if he would have moved back even 3, 4, 5 spots,
you don't get your guy.
You may not get your guy. And to look, Brad's got a set of cojones, right? I feel like he's looking at the Eagles and saying, "Man, you just lost Milton Williams. You lost Josh Sweat. I don't remember who they brought in this year. I don't know how they filled those holes. But if we trade back, are you going to take my guy in Tyleik Williams to fill your need?" Because that is a Howie Roseman move. Knowing that he wants to continue to build trenches to make sure that team is doing what it did the season before, it would have made perfect sense. Brad's probably like, "Yeah, you know what? It's tempting. We could use the draft picks, but we want now. We want our guy right now. We know who he is. The board's not looking good thereafter." And I think it was a smart move, even though like yesterday and last week I said, man, it's really tempting to pass on a pick for an extra first round pick. But what does that do? That makes you wait another year potentially to be able to fill the pipeline, whereas you had an opportunity this year. So, it's a double-edged sword being a general manager in the NFL. You have to live and die by the decisions that you make each and every day and draft, and then the fans just don't understand it, and you just get crucified for it. So, look, I trust in what Brad has done. I'm all in on what he's doing. So, what else did you want to add before we're going to probably head off here in a few moments? He's still not in the back room, but I think he's coming soon. There he is.
There he is.
Yep.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to sign out of this show, and then we'll meet you guys in the next link. It'll start promptly at 9 a.m. We'll get Mr. Corey Besh all set up. Super pumped to have this interview this morning. He's been on with plenty of other shows this week, and he's going to hear it from me directly, man. Why is he not on a sports desk? Like, this guy has it. He's so well-spoken. He obviously knows sports, and you can tell how much he loves his brother, man. So this is going to be a good one. We'll see you guys back here in just a few moments on the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Thank you guys for joining us. Just roll right in. It should bring you right in. If not, just go find the next live event. Well, we want to see you all back. No ads in the next show. We'll see you shortly.
Yeah, 1 2 1 2.
Hey yo, AC.
1 2 1 2. Mic check. Hey, can y'all hear me out there? Hey. Against